So if you thought the biggest threat to decentralized networks in 2026 was quantum computing, cracking cryptography, you are actually looking in the completely wrong direction.
Yeah, the real threat is an AI pretending to be a senior developer on a Zoom call.
Right. So today we are doing a deep dive into a wild 24-hour window where the digital asset landscape just permanently shifted. We're looking at how it absorbed insane macro chaos and held this rock-solid floor at exactly $75,982.30.
And that specific number is important because it completely exhausted algorithmic selling. Up until that point, downward momentum was heavy, but it just hit a brick wall right there.
Well, I want to jump in here because from the outside, I mean, it looked like a total bloodbath. Retail traders were aggressively trying to surf the tsunami and short the dip. So who actually caught that falling knife at 75K?
Yeah, it's a great question. We saw this extreme ETF bifurcation. The secondary ETFs, basically the ones retail tourists use to trade short-term volatility, they absolutely bled cash.
But the tier one giants did the exact opposite.
Exactly. Fidelity absorbed $26.6 million, and BlackRock took in another $19.1 million. They just quietly anchored the market while everyone else panicked.
Which is wild because retail basically tried to short the macro dip and just provided the exit liquidity for institutions. And then what, $100 million in shorts got violently liquidated?
Yeah, $104.3 million to be exact. And that mechanically squeezed the price right back up into the $77,000. But, this institutional confidence isn't just about Wall Street accumulation. The underlying physical infrastructure is rapidly leveling up.
Okay, wait, let's unpack this for a second. We're talking about digital ledgers, but MRA just dropped a historic $1.52 billion on a 505 megawatt combined cycle gas plant.
Right, and Riot is doubling its AMD data center capacity.
Yeah, so are we witnessing digital asset miners functionally transforming into heavily armed utility companies?
This is exactly what is happening. By securing baseload power at incredibly cheap rates, sub $15 a megawatt hour, they're insulating themselves. They're shifting from pure play mining to integrated AI and energy generation.
And they kind of have to, right? I mean, look at the geopolitical board. The global supply chain is completely paralyzed right now.
Oh, absolutely. The U.S. executive branch just bypassed the war powers deadline using that ceasefire loophole. So we are looking at indefinite tension in the Middle East at this point.
Yeah, and with the Strait of Hormuz effectively blockaded, you've got Brent crude sustaining around $112 to $114. That raw energy cost acts as a regressive tax, keeping inflation super sticky.
Which means central banks just can't afford to cut interest rates. But the U.S. government is still prepping its own moves. We've got the Clarity Act markup coming in May, and of course they are preparing for an imminent strategic Bitcoin reserve announcement under the new ARMA legislation.
It's crazy. And as U.S. integration accelerates, I mean, the Pentagon is literally running classified Bitcoin nodes right now. Adversarial nations are realizing they can't attack the network head on.
Right, so they go asymmetric. And this brings us to the staggering data from TRM Labs. North Korea is responsible for 76% of all crypto hack value in 2026.
Wait, 76%? That is massive.
It's huge. And they aren't even brute forcing cryptographic keys anymore. They are using AI-driven social engineering. They managed to extract $1.74 billion from protocols like Bybit and Drift.
Here is where it gets really interesting to me. If AI social engineering is bypassing the cryptography entirely, is the real vulnerability human rather than code?
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
They deploy AI tools to generate fake developer personas, they deepfake video interviews, they build trust by contributing legitimate code.
Yeah, and they just drain the entire protocol from the inside.
Exactly. The base layer is mathematically bulletproof, but the secondary ecosystem is fundamentally exposed to social manipulation.
Wow. So to bring this all together for you listening, over this pivotal window, Bitcoin is essentially functioning as what analysts call a thermodynamic sponge. It's absorbing physical energy through these plant acquisitions, merging with legacy grids, and acting as a geopolitical hedge during extreme macro paralysis.
Yeah, it's securing itself in the physical realm because the digital realm is becoming entirely unpredictable.
Which leaves you with a really uncomfortable question. If adversarial states are using AI to orchestrate multi-billion-dollar heists through human manipulation alone, does the future of decentralized security rely less on better encryption and more on traditional military-grade physical protection?